Hello everyone, I'm Cypriya, a Principal Cloud Engineer from the Virtual Code Innovate team. Today, let's talk about how to sync object storage metadata to Oracle Autonomous Database via OCI Events and Functions. OCI Events is a service that lets you automate tasks when something changes in the cloud resources. For example, when a new file is uploaded or a database is updated, OCI events can detect it. You can then set up rules and send these events to the other resources like OCI functions or OCI notifications to trigger the right actions automatically. The process flow begins when a file is uploaded to the designated bucket in the OCI object storage. This upload triggers an OCI event based on the predefined rule conditions. The event then calls a OCI function, which extracts this file metadata and updates it in Oracle Autonomous Database. In this video, you'll learn how to create a table in Oracle Autonomous Database and enable the REST access. Next, I'll show you how to configure the API key and authentication token, which you will be using in the OCI Cloud Shell. We will then build a function using the OCI Python SDK and set up the OCI object storage to emit the events by defining the event rules and conditions. Finally, we will test the flow by uploading a file to Oracle Object Storage and verify that its metadata is updated successfully in Autonomous Database. Let's get started. After navigating to Oracle Autonomous Database, we will go to the database actions and then select database user to create a new user. Provide a username, enter and confirm the password. Here I've configured the quota on the table space data as unlimited. Then I'm going to enable the REST access and create the user. Transition to the REST enabled URL for the user and log in with your username and password to access the database actions. Navigate to SQL under Development section and create a table to store the document details. Here we are going to specify the required column names and the data types. Finally, run a select statement to confirm the table was created successfully. Finally, we will go ahead and REST enable the object so that you can query the database from any application. Next, we'll enable the API key and authentication token for the user account you're logged in with. Go to your user profile and click Add API key. You can either upload your own public key or generate a new key pair and download both the private as well as public keys. Once generated, you can preview the configuration file along with the fingerprint. Scroll down to the authentication token section and generate a new token. This authentication token will be used later to log in and push the image to the OCIR. The next step is to build the OCI function. Start by creating a VCN using the wizard. Enter the VCN name, keep the default configuration as is, review the settings and click Create. Once the VCN is created, proceed with the creation of the function application. Enter the application name, select the VCN and choose the public subnet, and then click Create. Review the Getting Started guide and follow the steps provided. The Cloud Shell Setup panel will display the commands tailored for your environment. Copy and paste these commands to configure your Cloud Shell for functions development. The FN context will list the regions that is configured and the star represents the current context in use. If you wish to set your own context, you can use the FN use context command. We will then update the FN update context command for the compartment. You'll also configure the OCIR with the region, tenancy name followed by the repository prefix. Now we will repurpose the auth token generated in the previous step. Start by logging into the Docker with your credentials. First, try logging in with the auth token. This won't work because we haven't added the domain name before the email address. Now, let's try by including Oracle Identity Cloud Service before your email address and then enter the token. This time, the login has succeeded. After this, let's try listing the apps. Here is the app that we created and its OCID. Now go ahead and initialize the FN project with the runtime as Python. And go ahead and give it a project name. The FN template gets generated successfully. Let's switch to code editor in order to view the code which was just generated. In the handler, we have configured the OCI resource principal signer and initialized the required variables. Next, we will set up the environment variables to capture the configuration parameters such as input bucket, the ORDS base URL, schema, username and password. When an object is uploaded, an event is triggered and the event payload is loaded into the body. We then parse this JSON data and assign the values to the variables we created. Finally, the document object is constructed containing the document name, event ID, event details, bucket, and namespace. Next, we'll call another function which invokes the ORDS post endpoint for the documents details table. This function updates the object metadata into document details table within autonomous database. A requirements.txt file lists all the external Python project packages which the project depends on. The function.yaml contains the name of the function and its runtime environment. Copy the command from the Cloud Shell panel to deploy the function application we created in our code editor. Let's confirm if the repository is updated under Oracle Container Registry. Now, switch to the function you created and update the configuration parameters such as bucket name, database URL, and credentials. Let's go to object storage and enable emit object events. As a final configuration step, navigate to the events service under observability and management, select rules and create a new rule. We will set up an event trigger for the function as follows. Set the service name to object storage and set the event type to object created and object updated. For action type, select functions and choose the appropriate compartment and function application. Then select the specific function to be triggered. Additionally, we are going to add a rule condition. Update the compartment name and the bucket name that we want to monitor and then save the changes. Enable logging for the function by creating a log group and a log name and enabling the logs. This will help you to save logs and perform further debugging. Now, let's test the end-to-end flow. Go to object storage and upload any document. In this example, we are going to upload demo.sql file. Once the upload is complete, verify if the rule was triggered under the events. And check the function logs to ensure execution. Next, switch to your database and run a select statement to confirm that the records have been updated successfully.